A compliance action was brought against the Departmental Assembly for the creation of 2 ethnic municipalities in the Archipelago Department.
Before the Administrative Court of the Department, Citizen Dalmiro Arias Pusey filed a compliance action against the Assembly so that this body complies with the Article 310 of the Colombian Political Constitution for the creation of 2 municipalities in San Andres. This project would have been presented in 2011 and 2014 by the deputies of the previous periods.
En el artículo 310 de la Constitución, en el inciso tercero.
In Article 310 of the Constitution, in Clause 3, there is a constitutional mandate that says that the Department Assembly will create the municipalities at open place in San Andres Island to guarantee the institutional expression of the island of San Andres. That is a mandate that the Assembly has not complied with for 31 years. In 2011, Deputy Arlington Howard presented it to the Assembly, and in 2014, it was presented by several deputies, at that time Oscar Buy, Abel Archibald, Steve Jesse, Julio Gallardo, Bradison Fernandez, and Jim Reeves.
Arias Pusey indicates that sectors such as San Luis and Hill are sought to be recognized as ethnic municipalities with legal representation of mayors and councillors.
Con esto tendríamos un alcalde raizal.
With this, we'll have a raizal mayor, 5 raizal councilmen, and by right, will demand that 3 of the raizal deputies from Hill Sector and San Luis. The only way for the Assembly to work for the benefit of the raizal community is to have a majority of raizal in the Assembly, so having 3 in each of the municipalities will be the majority.
He also stated that the purpose of this project is to guarantee inclusion for the racial community in political matters. Teleislas News will be attentive to the decision of the Contentious Administrative Court regarding the compliance action.
The manager of the Departmental Social State Enterprise stated how the renal unit project is progressing in the department. These are the advances.
After the announcement of installation of a renal unit in the Departmental Social State Company by the local government and the approval of said project before the Duma, the manager of the medical center explained the progress made on the subject, informing that work will begin on the physical adaptation and training of the personnel who will be in charge of the area.
We are going to start the waterproofing of the area since we have to guarantee its total security, and we are also starting to receive the materials for the installation of the water purification plant. We are starting the floor adaptations. We have to change it. So starting next week, we'll begin on the physical adaptation, and we are programming to start the training of the personnel from the first week of December onwards. We are working on all the documentation required to enable the service, all this at the same time, so that when the physical adaptation is finished, everything will be ready and we will be able to start with the work of the renal unit as soon as possible.
It is important to remember that according to what has been announced by the local government and the manager of the departmental unit, the work for the adequacy of the renal unit will take about 4 months to be completed.
And the Carolina Corporation has been carrying out inspection of tourism providers on the different beaches of the island.
The Environmental Corporation Carolina carries out inspection in the different beaches and bays of the island, verifying that touristic service providers comply with the measures required to develop their work in these places and attraction of the archipelago. On this occasion, the environmental entity inspected the beaches of Rocky Key.
Se realizó visita a la playa de Rocky Key.
A visit was made to Rocky Key Beach, where we found that 3 of the tourist service providers have active permits. The others are without permits and operate irregularly. For Carolina, it is not feasible to formalize the operation of these service providers that operate irregularly. It is also established in a carrying capacity study that there should be no bars or commercial establishments in the beach area, kiosks or other elements other than tents and chairs, which are the only ones established to provide this activity on the beach of Rocky Key.
The corporation emphasized to all beach rental service providers that they may not exceed the limit of the boundaries established for the installation of tents. As well as the rental of chairs, they may not exceed the number of units for which they were granted permission. He also informs that today the permits for the provision of tents and chairs are closed until further notice.
And for this Friday, November 25th, the commemoration of the Day of Indignation that has been scheduled for last Saturday, November 19, has been rescheduled. Heavy rains prevented it from being carried out. Therefore, the organizers have decided to do it this Friday.
With a peaceful march, the activity that aims to remember the sad news of the Hague ruling in 2012 will begin. November 19 of each year has been established as the Day of the Indignation. This year will not be the exception, because although the commemoration could not take place on the same day, it has been scheduled for Friday, November 25th.
We are organizing with the different churches, the traditional churches from the island, an activity out of this Governor Square, what we call Plazoleta. Out of the Plazoleta, we will meet the pastors, the choirs, plus 2 academic speakers that will talk to you about the ruling of the Hague, what it treats about, the advantage, disadvantage, because I don't see no advantage in that. Plus, we will have the speaks of 2 fishermen who will participate and talk about their feeling and their different living around this theme. We will have a marching that will begin from the 20 de Julio Avenue, front of the Bolivar's Park, or Central Baptist Church. Just a little group with a special written, with something solemn, something serious, and a big signboard that invite and remember the people that we are not celebrating nothing. We are commemorating the ruling of the Hague over our island.
The activity will begin at 3 p.m. with a march from the Simon Bolivar Park to the Coral Palace Square. The activity will continue at 4 o'clock with the intervention of the fisherman and spokesperson of the Raisal people, who will talk about how the decision has affected the island, especially those who work in the fishing industry.
From November 21st to the 25th, the week for visibilization of elderly adult women will be developed. This activity will culminate with a coronation event. Here we give you details.
The week dedicated to the visibilization of the elderly woman has already begun. The activity was launched yesterday, Monday, and will culminate on Friday, November 25th, with the coronation of the Queen. Emperatrice O'Neill talks about it.
This week we have a week special to recognize our senior women, and this week is special for them. They have outlining as one of the most important activities of our program. We had 2 years that we weren't having it because of the pandemic and all the confinement regulations. Fortunately, this year we began again. Yesterday we started with the parade of the carrozas, and we have the opportunity to share with the senior adults and the groups and the communities all the happiness and all their creativity, taking attention to their queens and to their carrozas. And we enjoy a lot yesterday, and I know they enjoyed a lot yesterday also. This evening we have the parade through the harbor. That is what they call in the Cartagena pageant event, the Desfile Balleneras. So we are going to be in a yacht, and they are going to have the opportunity to have interaction also with the sea. Our 6 queens and our queen candidates, pardon, and our queen of that is delivering the crown, and the different groups that are going to be with us. Tomorrow we have our intergenerational event, where the queens and the candidates are going to have the opportunity to interact with our children, sharing with them games and toys, what they used to play with in the childhood. This event is very important because it's the transmission of all the knowledge that they have in that sense. And after tomorrow, we have our departmental Viejoteca. That is an event also that they wait for a lot. It's in style of agent dancing hall way, and they are going to be dressed with their ancient dresses. And that evening we are going to dance from the beginning until the end. They are going to elect also the Queen of Dancing. And on Friday night we have the election of our new Queen for senior adult 2022-2023.
Of course, Teleislas News will be present to announce the happy winner.
And in other news, the ICT Secretariat announced that to welcome school vacations, different activities will be carried out around the various technological tools for children to make the most of their end of year break.
For this Thursday and Friday, the ICT Secretariat is organizing recreational vacation sessions for children between 6 and 10 years of age, where they will learn about technological tools in a fun way.
Los días 24 y 25.
For the 24th and 25th, we will be carrying out recreation and vacational activities for children between 6 and 10 years old. This is focused on the fact that since the children are on vacation, they can interact with technology. We will be doing activities for them to learn about ICT tools. There will also be movies. They will have activities with social workers. The activities will be from 10 in the morning to 12 p.m. and from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. both days. We have some games called Crash, to show them all the parts of the computer, like what is the mouse, what is a keyboard, so that the children learn a little more about technology.
Those parents who wish to participate in the activity should come tomorrow from 10 in the morning to 5 p.m. with the personal data of the children and their guardian to Punto Vive Digital on Surrey Bay, where one of the officials will be collecting their personal information.
And now it's time for Sport News with Victor Fusalva.
Hello, here are the best sports of the island, and this time with basketball, where Titanes of Barranquilla defeated Caribbean Storm in overtime. The game started with the Barranquilla team winning, ending the first quarter with 10-point advantage over Caribbean Storm. In the second quarter, while dominating the boards and the defensive part, the Barranquilla team was able to increase their lead, closing the second quarter with a 15-point lead. In the third quarter, the Caribbeans improved defensively and managed to get closer in the score by 4 points to the Barranquilla team. The last quarter was very exciting, and the island team managed to tie the game and force it to overtime. In overtime, the Barranquilla players adjusted their offense and managed to take a 10-point lead over the Caribbean Storm, winning the game and thus winning the first game of the W Play League Professional Basketball Final. These were the words of Coach Tomás Díaz.
El partido digno de una final.
It was a game worthy of a final, and in the end we stopped the ball a little bit. We stopped rotating it, and they got their game, which got a little bit more physical. We had several opportunities to extend the score. With this team, we have the hierarchy to close the game. I don't think we can lose 5 points and in adverse conditions to have good decision-making ability. For example, we have Oglivit on my left, who has a lot of temperament to finish the game. I think defense is what is bringing us to game and keeping us in the competition. We know how to read the game. I think that at the end, we try to keep the ball a little bit. Unfortunately, in the last quarter, we stopped doing what I think is our DNA, to rotate the ball, and the team came down on us.
The second match between Titanes and the Caribbean Storm will be tonight at the Ginny Bay Coliseum. And in the women's basketball, a quadrangular begins in the Caribbean Sport Fest. The Women's Invitational Cup of the Caribbean Sport Fest began with 4 teams, all for the new beginning. For the teams, 4 teams participated in the tournament, 2 for San Andres A and B, Survivors for Providence, and Bravos for Bolivar. The tournament gathered players from the island with some reinforcement from the interior of the country that will contribute to their experience in the game. The tournament will be played in 2 rounds. In the inauguration of the tournament, San Andres B defeated Survivors of Providence by a score of 67-46, while Bravos of Cartagena defeated San Andres A by a score of 92-31.
For us, it's important we got tournament like these. I think it's very important for us to prepare during the whole year. We need tournament internal during the whole year
so we can prepare for national and international tournaments. So opportunities like this make us better, help us to keep active, and help us to want to correct things like team. To the first, the game was right there. It was a hard game to the first, and thank and praise the Lord. All of us give all away. We try our best. We try work together as team, and well, thank God for the second quarter. Going back, we get the game. We get the advance, and we finish with the victory.
And this will be all in sports for the moment. I am Victor Fusalva, Teleislas News.
Thank you, Victor. With sport news, we reach to the end of this broadcast. We see you tonight at 8 p.m. with more Teleislas News. Good afternoon.